There's a lot of discussion in the business world about work-life balance. But today we've got a really interesting topic. We're going to be talking about work-marriage balance and a number of fascinating interplays between the two, all of which should challenge and inspire us to think seriously about our work and our marriage.
Welcome to the Only You Forever podcast. If you want to build a thriving, passionate marriage, we've got the research, the truth, and the answers you've been looking for. And now, here are your hosts, Caleb and Verlinda Simone Gendel.
Hey everybody, this is episode number 48, and we're going to be giving you 10 tips for deepening your emotional connection.
What we want to do here is really take this to the next level. Like, we're going to give you 10 tips, but we really want you, listener, to think about this not just as try this when you get home today, but more like, how can we weave one or more of these into the daily fabric of our marriage?
Nicely put.
Thanks.
We live in a quick fix society, right? Mm-hmm. Everything is easy, cheap, disposable. And I think we're really trained to think about what we get out of things, not what we put into them. Marketers are always focusing on the benefits. Mm-hmm. But we want to think and really challenge our listeners and ourselves to really be intentional about building daily rituals into our marriages and our families, so they kind of become the bastions of love and security. So my question is, what are we putting in? Are we building marriages that are like safe harbors that we return to daily?
Oh, Caleb, that's just like so true and romantic. But you know, like no matter what happens throughout the day, lying in your arms at night just feels so safe.
That's right. That's one of those 10 ideas we want to get to.
Oh, good.
Not that I have a problem with you giving it away early. So let's cover a little bit of research on this for Linda so we know there's a good reason to do it, and then get to our list of 10 ideas, suggested rituals or habits of daily connection.
Alrighty.
Ready? So I know I didn't discover, and I have air quotes around the word discover, this idea of daily rituals until several years into our marriage. And then I learned that we were already doing this somewhat, but we've added to it since, right?
Yeah. So if you're listening and you've been married even a little while, I guess I should say, you probably already have some of these rituals of connection, which is awesome. So we want you to acknowledge those and let's take it up a notch.
Yeah, and I think when you study these rituals in marriage or families, they seem to have two parts, okay? So the first part is there's always a behavior, obvious enough, right? But there's usually a meaning or a symbolism tied to it. So you can have this really practical part, the habitual part, but there's also this symbolic component that's part of your couple identity. It's who you are. And that has, serves a meaning-making function in your marriage.
Okay. I think we should give an example here, just so folks know where we're going with this.
Okay.
So, like as I kind of alluded to earlier, one of our daily rituals is that at night we hold each other in bed. And it's almost always the same position. And we don't sleep like this because we'd overheat.
Indeed.
And it's not sexual, but it's several minutes long and we pray together. So that would be the behavior you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what's the meaning of this?
That's one of our moments when we feel most together.
Yeah.
It brings us joy.
Yeah. And it's the way we ground ourselves after a crazy day.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we all have these times of stress in our marriage, right? They're in our, it's in our marriage too. Just because we've got a podcast on marriage doesn't mean it's 100%. Without stress. And this ritual, though, it's our daily touch point where we're together. So no matter what's happened, no matter what's going on or is going to happen, we're together. And we, an unspoken part of this ritual, Verlin, is that we go to bed at the same time, which if you can possibly do that in your marriage, you should. It's a wonderful thing. And as a result, though, there's this meaning and there's this behavior in this one ritual.
Just a note, like we all have routines, but I think what you're talking about was a ritual has meaning.
Yep.
So the meaning might never be outright stated.
No, we didn't sit down and negotiate a meaning and then decide how to wrap our behavior around that.
No.
We just kind of started doing this, and this is what it's come to mean for us.
Yeah, the meaning's there.
Yeah.
But I think other times it could be
Absolutely.
explicitly discussed and agreed to.
Absolutely. Now, I did find some research on this, and one of the benefits, or some of the benefits identified in an article in the Journal of Family Psychology, first of all, identity. We mentioned this already. It helps define who we are as a couple. When we have these little rituals that we're doing every day, helps define who we are as a couple.
Okay.
Provides, number 2, a sense of lovability.
Yeah.
And increases cohesion. So just that sense of bond.
Together. Okay.
Togetherness. Absolutely. And it provides stability during times of stress or transition. So like I said, we can come back to that place at night, no matter what's going on during the day. And it provides a sense of belonging, like to the couple.
Yeah.
There's a closeness. There's kind of it's a really small group, but it's group membership.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't
like nobody else is there.
No, and we don't do that with anybody else.
No.
Yeah. And another last benefit I wanted to mention that was revealed in this article, overall booster for psychological health and functioning. So you can tell that we enjoy that one little thing that we've mentioned. But if you have several of these in your daily lives, that's a real booster. The world's a tough place, right? So we want to put whatever positives we can into our marriage.
Yeah. Like almost a de-stressor? Is that what you're meaning by a booster?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good for your mental health. Mm-hmm. Now, another study showed that those families who were more invested in rituals, they experienced more positive relationship quality and closeness. So I don't think there's any surprises there, right?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was a third article that I was using in reference to this topic by Hoagland and Storm from 2005. And they looked at what happens if these rituals are absent. What if they're not there? Oh. Which is kind of interesting. And they found that when couples or families stop practicing routines and rituals, there's a drastic increase in unpredictability.
Okay, yeah, it's not as predictable.
Yeah, that makes sense too, right? The family cohesion is weakened. So they looked at this more in family than couple context. Mm-hmm. That means that their sense of togetherness goes down. Mm-hmm. And that led to the family just not feeling as safe.
This reminds me to the comment that our oldest daughter made not too long ago.
What's that?
And she said, well, we'll always know when you guys are having a fight because you won't hug so much.
Oh.
And we said, oh, have you noticed? No, you hug all the time. But that would just, she wouldn't feel as safe. She would notice that if we didn't have that daily ritual.
Yeah. So that blessing kind of spills over to others as well.
Yeah.
All right. So we have our 10 ideas and only 10 for Linda. She added an 11th option on, which is unmentionable.
Shh.
I know I'm not mentioning it.
You just did.
No, I didn't.
But you even mentioned I put it down. Let's just go to number 1.
Okay. Number 1, morning hug or cuddle.
I'm going to be so mushy all the way through this because they're just so nice.
Oh, good. Okay, well, you stay mushy and I'll list them off so that the podcast show doesn't go to mush. Morning hug or cuddle. So let's just talk about a little idea. Whatever works for you here is we go to bed at the same time. We don't get up at the same time.
No.
So this is kind of why we have this.
Yeah.
And this could happen anywhere in your home or whatever. For us, it's often I'm in my study reading in the morning. You come in and we just have a cuddle for a few moments. And that's how we start our day together.
Yeah. Not a long time, not crazy.
Other folks might be leaving the house early, but, a quick lean in the bed and give your spouse a squeeze kind of thing. Any idea like that is great. Second one we try to touch base around lunch, usually a text message.
When you remember.
Let's go on to the third one. And the third one we call 5 for 5. I think we mentioned this in episode 1. Might have mentioned it somewhere else too, but 5 for 5 is
46. I think we mentioned it too.
Oh, 46. Mm-hmm. When I get home from work, I try to spend the first 5 minutes at home within 5 feet of you.
Yeah.
And just connecting, understanding how the day went on. I put my cell phone down and we just touch base, catch up on what happened.
Yep. And that's not anything real deep too. There's usually a lot going on, but it's just touching base.
Yes.
Reconnecting.
It's reconnecting.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea together is another great idea, a time of day. Some folks we've heard of, we don't do this, but they used to sit down after supper every night together for 15 minutes, and the kids knew, just leave us alone. Mm-hmm. This is our 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. We're having a cup of tea together. And then they do the family thing. Others, might just check into the bedroom for 15 minutes just to chat and debrief on the day. But find a spot where you can really connect like that. Another great thing to do, number 5, walk or work out together.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, which we do sometimes when it's warmer outside. Mm-hmm. Number 6, hold hands in the car. Hold hands on the couch. Hold hands wherever you are.
Mm-hmm. I like that one. And sit beside your husband in the car.
Yes. As opposed to
sitting in the passenger seat.
Oh, if you have a bench seat.
If you have a bench seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
but
indeed.
even so, you can reach over and you can still hold hands.
I agree.
Yeah.
But just that physical touch there, that's the behavior. But the meaning is you're special. I love you. Whatever, right? You're together.
Yeah.
That's what we want to have.
Because you wouldn't do that with anybody else. I'd never reach over and hold anybody else's hand. As much as I love my mom, I wouldn't reach over and hold her hand in the car.
hold our kids' hands a little bit for walking or doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 7, go to bed together.
That's an important one.
I think so. If you can possibly manage this, you can talk, pray, cuddle, whatever.
Yeah.
Number 8, the 6-second hug. You should have one of these in your marriage every day.
I just have to laugh at this one because
Why?
for the most part, you're really good at this.
Yeah.
We are really good at this.
Oh, yeah.
But then every once in a while, like at the end of the day, you're like, oh, you need a 6-second hug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Check it off the list. Yeah, well.
But it still means a lot.
Indeed. Obviously.
I like the next one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what the next one is for Linda?
Do the dishes together.
Yeah.
Like for a while there, and we still get the kids to help, but sometimes it's just really nice. You know, the kids are reading books or practicing music or whatever they're doing. And it's just another time to chat.
Yes.
I'm not sure how much meaning there is, but there's meaning because you're helping me.
Yes. I don't do dishes with you because I love doing dishes.
No.
No.
I don't do dishes because I love doing dishes either.
But it's kind of redeeming.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I don't know, what might seem to be a waste of time. I mean, keeping your dishes clean is good, obviously, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Makes it worth a better experience.
Yeah.
All right. Number 10, always greet one another or send off one another at the door with a hug and a kiss. Sounds obvious, but it's just a way of stamping your affection on your spouse before you go.
Yeah. Little reminder when he goes out the door.
Yep. Good stuff.
And again.
And we weren't going to talk about number 11. So, in closure, we want to shout out a huge thank you to Cliff Rosa for leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes this week.
Cliff?
Yes. These reviews, remember, serve a double purpose. I'll be honest, they are encouraging and they help motivate us, keep us doing what we're doing. So it gives us joy to be a positive influence in the lives of others. But also, when you leave us a review on iTunes, the way Apple has things set up on iTunes, it actually makes this show appear in more searches if you have more reviews, which helps us to reach more people. And that's a great thing. And we appreciate that. So we're thankful for the steady growth we're seeing every month in our show. And we thank the listeners and thank especially those of you that are out there leaving us reviews on iTunes. It's a huge help.
So that's all for today's episode. You can get the full show notes at oyf.link/48. And remember, we're here to help build thriving, passionate marriages. So if this was helpful to you, go spread the word. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the OnlyYouForever.com podcast. Please help us reach and influence a wider audience by rating and reviewing our podcast at OnlyYouForever.com/love. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Sometimes marriage can seem complicated. Today,
Amen.
what? That wasn't in the script.
Sorry. Go ahead. We need another moment of silence, I think.
Sometimes marriage is very complicated.
When you're married to me. Okay, I think we should stop and start again.
Okay.